Hi all. In this time of lockdowns and social distancing, I just want to try and connect with a few folks. So this evening I'm getting ready to upgrade the firmware of my Instruo Arbhar, which is an amazing granular resynthesis module for Eurorack. So I thought, what the heck, there's a chance someone might be interested in this, so I'll share it. As you can see, the Arbhar is a beautiful module, like all of Instruo's modules. This is a digital module, so there's a fair amount of circuitry involved here. You can see there's actually, including the faceplate, 3 boards, essentially. Maybe I'm not using the right term, but 3 levels here to deal with. Lots packed in, which is great. It is a very compact format, so that's the way things are going to be. When you look at the back of the Arbhar, as I spin it around and around and around, you see the USB stick here on the inside. Up in here are the switches for the CV mod assignment on the expander. And down here is the SD card that holds the firmware. It's a 16 gigabyte card. So you need to remove that to upgrade the firmware. The trick for me is it's a tight space and I can't get my fingers in there. But when you look at the boards and how they're connected, you see there's no solder joints involved in here. They just basically snap together. You want to be careful, of course, and not damage anything, so I'm going to try and... well, it popped out. But now I can access this SD card. See, it's kind of tight in there. I might have to lay this down to actually get to it. There we go. My thumbnail caught the very edge of the card. Put this down for a sec. So you see this little indentation on the card. I was able to catch it with my thumbnail and just kind of gently pull it out. Okay, so now we need to take it to the computer and put the firmware update on it. First, I want to point out that this very same firmware update procedure is also utilized for the Instruo Luba. So if you are lucky enough to already have an Instruo Luba, this firmware update procedure will indeed apply to you. I must say that the entire process is very straightforward and the documentation is very simple and clear, and that's a good thing. There are 2 downloads that you will need. First, you obviously need the updated firmware. Second, you need Etcher to burn the new firmware to the SD card. After downloading and preparing these, the SD card needs to be connected to your computer. I'm using a USB multi-card reader. Then you will run Etcher and click on Select Image. And a helpful note is included to be sure that you have chosen the correct storage device to write the new firmware to, as this process will overwrite any drive selected. Let's get started. On my laptop, I've downloaded the firmware update to a subfolder, and in preparation, I've already unzipped this firmware. Next, I'll select the target to write this new firmware to. Again, it's very important to choose the correct target drive. Otherwise, you'll wind up erasing a drive unintentionally, and that will definitely not be a good thing. Here's my target drive. Click to confirm. Press Continue. Then click on Flash. As this write process gets started, Windows will ask you to allow Etcher to write data to this SD card. Upon confirmation, the write process for the new firmware will begin. For me, I'll note that on my older laptop, writing the new firmware to the SD card took approximately 4.5 minutes. But for the sake of this video, I'll speed up through this and get to the next step. At the end of Etcher's write process, I was happy to discover that Etcher does provide a validation routine. This is very helpful in confirming that your new firmware has been successfully written to the card. So this is not a guessing game, and you can proceed with the confidence of knowing that the new firmware is indeed ready to go. Etcher's validation routine did take approximately 3 minutes to run on my older laptop, but I'll speed up through this also so we can move on to reinstalling the Arbhar's SD card. I'll mention a nice touch at the end of this validation routine is that Etcher will also unmount the target drive. Flash complete. Now let's reinstall the Arbhar's SD card. This is kind of interesting because I'm looking at this through my phone. That's what I'm recording this on. It's my phone. Okay, that feels nice and secure. So now, if we want to put the module back together, gonna line it up. Make sure everything looks like it's okay. And I'm going to attempt to gently push it in. We can look around and see that everything is lined up. There's the update to the firmware of the Arbhar.